Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Anthem. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get to it. So Anthem has been in full release for a couple of days now, and what do you think, and what do we think? Well, let's start with the good. The weapons feel good. They feel like they have a little bit of weight to them. They kind of jig and jag around as you're firing. So they feel good, they sound good, and that's great. The abilities are good. You have a variety of different types of abilities, and then of course your ultimate ability is always a blast to fire off. The particle effects, the visual effects of using the abilities is really cool. The vertical nature of the maps is nice, and graphically I think the presentation is quite nice when you're looking at just anywhere around the map. It looks pretty good. Character story and interaction is also pretty good. You can kind of delve into other people's stories when you're talking to them in Fort Tarsis, and as you're going along the critical path or the main campaign, you are learning more about yourself, about the freelancers, background story. You're learning a little bit more, getting invested in what is going on. Now, what is wrong with the game? What is not working very well? The enemy AI is not that great. They kind of stand around in their relative position and fire at you. The added difficulty level generally just makes them more accurate. It doesn't make them smarter. The social aspect of Anthem, playing with your friends, is actually kind of difficult. You can't say, oh, I see so-and-so on, I'm just going to jump in with him. No, you say, oh, I see so-and-so on, I need to send him an invite. He needs to accept that invite and then wait for him to join the squad. When you're ready to go out into the world, you can't look at your map and say, hey, I got this expedition to do. Do you want to do it? And there's no way to pass leadership from one person to the other. So being unable when you join someone else's squad to see what is on your own map is a bit of a problem. In connection with that, being able to see what other people are using. I'd like to be able to see what other people are using, what their loadout is, and there's no easy way to see my loadout outside of the Forge. Actually, there's no way to see what your loadout is outside of the Forge. You can see what your abilities are during an expedition when you're running around Fort Tarsis. There's no way to look at it. You have to go to the Forge and see what your components are and your weapons, etc. So not so great. What else? The loot system. I kind of say I kind of understand where they're going with it, but it could be better as well. So you pick up an item, whether it's common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, masterwork, whatever level it happens to be. You can see what level it is, but you don't know what it is or what slot it is going into until you finish the expedition. Likewise, if you get disconnected, because there have been those types of issues, you lose that loot. Additionally, when you go down, there's no way to see what other people are doing, and it's not easy to see when other players are going down. You can see a visual marker on the map when you're looking at that person. When you're looking at their icon, you can see that they're down, and that's about it. There's no audio cue, there's no javelin down, nothing like that. Nothing to indicate that there's another person down, and if you're the last person standing, there's nothing saying that, hey, if you go down, you're going to have to go back to the last checkpoint. So I think that could be represented a little bit better. Now, loot, additionally, if you have something that drops and you get pulled forward, you don't get that unless it is a legendary or masterwork. So you have to pick it up. And if you go down and you respawn, of course, you respawn way back and then you get teleported forward. So that whatever dropped, whatever rarity, it's gone. So you always have to wait for someone to bring you up so that you can pick up the loot that gets dropped. Otherwise, it's gone. Otherwise, you won't be able to pick it up. So, couple problems with the loot, couple problems with respawning and going down. Transparency is another issue with the game. They go over some of the basics, how to fly, how to do a barrel roll, how to use your abilities, but they don't really go into depth unless you go into the menu, how to do combos. They don't say you need 2 parts to a combo, and not everything can become a part of a combo. You need an ability with a little circle in the corner, or a circle in a circle, I should say, as a primer. Use that first, and then use a detonator, which looks like a little explosion or X or a diamond, and only one person can detonate the combo. After one person's detonated the combo, it's over. Flying is actually both good and bad, and I'll tell you what I mean. Flying is really fun. I love that aspect of the game, going to the different areas, flying. It gets you there very quickly because the map is actually very large, and you can feel the size of the map, the enormity of the map, just by flying around. The downside is you overheat. It's a interesting mechanic, and I understand during fights why it's important, because otherwise everyone would just be flying around and hovering and doing whatever instead of being a little bit more tactical while they're on the ground. But outside of battle, why are you overheating? The speed at which everyone flies is different in battle, but outside of battle, it is all supposed to be the same, assuming everyone has the same amount of thrust increase from any inscriptions. There are some paths that are quite clear on what to do to further the story, and sometimes it's not always clear who you should talk to that will offer a contract and who wants to talk to you just to talk to you. Does that eventually lead to something, or does it just expand the story? If I'm playing with some other people, I don't want to be bogged down by story while they're waiting for me, but I don't want to miss out on a contract or mission because I didn't talk to a particular person at a particular time. So we end up talking to everyone that is willing to talk to you to have that opportunity to have a contract or what have you. So I don't think that some people are able to enjoy the interaction with the people of Fort Tarsis as much, because you kind of feel like you're keeping people from doing the action. You want to jump back into the action as quickly as possible. Now, this game is a lot of fun to play, and there are some really shining moments where you can really engage yourself with the game. And the things that are kind of holding it back, some of it is relatively minor from a technical aspect, and some of it is really major. So even though the game just came out, it needs almost a complete overhaul to make it completely enjoyable. Not to mention some of the bugs and stability problems that have plagued the game even from the beta. So don't get me wrong, game is a lot of fun to play as long as you're willing to overlook some of the problems. If those problems that I've listed off here are an issue, then maybe you should go somewhere else. There are plenty of these types of games to choose from. So if you're looking for this type of game, this genre of game, then you can play Anthem if you're willing to look over those problems, and if not, you can go somewhere else to one of the other ones. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to ring the bell before you leave to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.